Have you ever poured your entire heart out to someone, only to feel them take a step back? Have you ever given more and more love, desperate for a signal, for a sign of reciprocity, and instead, you watch them physically, emotionally, energetically retreat? It's one of the most painful, confusing, and frustrating experiences in human relationships. You're left standing there, your love in your hands, wondering, what did I do wrong? I'm here to tell you right now, you didn't do anything wrong. You were operating from a beautiful, abundant heart, but you were using the wrong map for the territory. If you're dealing with a person who has an avoidant attachment style, the classic rules of engagement do not apply. The very force of your pursuit, the intensity of your love, can feel like a cage to them. But what if I told you there is a way? What if I told you that you could create a magnetic pull so powerful, so safe, so compelling, that for the first time in their life, they feel the urge to lean in, to close the distance, to chase? This is not about game playing. This is about a fundamental shift in strategy, in energy, in your very state of being. If an avoidant shows you a flicker of love, a moment of vulnerability, and you do this, you will unlock a dynamic that will transform your relationship forever. Let's get real for a moment. The single greatest tool you have in any interaction, but especially with an avoidant, is your own state. Your emotional energy is either a warning signal or a welcome mat. Think about it. An avoidant person is hypervigilant. Their nervous system is constantly scanning for threats, for engulfment, for the loss of their independence. When you are anxious, when you are needy, when you are emotionally volatile, what you are broadcasting is danger. You are confirming their deepest fear, that relationships are chaotic and will consume them. So the first and most profound thing you must do is to become an unshakable sanctuary of calm. This isn't about pretending. This is about a deep, internal shift. It's about doing your own work, healing your own anxieties, and finding a core of peace that is independent of their actions or moods. When you are the sanctuary, something magical happens. You become safe. Your presence is no longer a demand. It's a refuge. When they are stressed and they push you away, and you don't react, you don't chase, you just remain solid and calm. You break their entire pattern. They expect a storm, and you give them a serene harbor. They brace for impact, and you simply stand firm. This is incredibly disarming. It makes you predictable in the best possible way. They learn that coming to you doesn't mean being swallowed by drama. It means finding stability. This is the foundation of the magnetic pull. You are no longer trying to pull them into your chaotic world. You are inviting them into a peace they crave, but have never been able to consistently find. This means mastering your physiology. When you feel the urge to chase, to text, to demand an answer, you must change your state. Breathe deeply. Move your body. Shift your focus. Your mission is to make your own emotional home so beautiful and so peaceful that the question is no longer will they come in, but are they worthy of being invited into this space? Your calm is your power. It communicates that you are whole without them. And that is the very thing that makes a connection with you so desirable. So the moment arrives, they show up. They send a thoughtful text. They initiate physical touch. They share a vulnerable feeling. This is the test. This is the critical juncture where most people fail spectacularly, and in their failure, they reinforce the avoidance core belief that intimacy is dangerous. What do most people do? They see this glimmer of love, this opening, and they pour their entire pent-up reservoir of need and expectation into it. They celebrate it like it's a marriage proposal. They respond with a novel-length text. They gush. They cling. And what does that feel like to the avoidant? It feels like a trap. It feels like, aha, you finally showed you care. Now I have you. Now you must meet all my needs. And the avoidant's internal alarm system screams, abort mission. So what is the antidote? You must receive, acknowledge, and return without pressure. Let's break that down. They say, I missed you. The anxious response is, oh my God, I missed you so much more. I've been thinking about you all day. It was so hard not to call you. That is pressure. The secure magnetic response is a warm, genuine smile and a simple, that means a lot to hear. I've been thinking of you too. Then you change the subject. You hold the space for the gift they just gave you. You acknowledge it with gratitude, and you let it be enough. You don't try to build a skyscraper on top of that one brick. You simply say, thank you for the brick, and you continue on with your life. This is crucial. You are teaching them that showing affection is a normal, low-risk, pleasant experience. It doesn't automatically lead to a heavy conversation about the future. It doesn't lead to you latching on and never letting go. It leads to a moment of warm connection, and then a return to the natural flow of life. You are the calm lake. When they drop a pebble of love into you, you create a beautiful ripple. You acknowledge it, and then you return to stillness. You don't become a tidal wave that crashes over them. This low-pressure reception makes the act of giving love feel safe, and when something feels safe, a human being is naturally inclined to do it again. You are literally conditioning them in the most positive way. That vulnerability with you leads to positive reinforcement, not to a loss of self. This may be the most counterintuitive strategy of all, but if you master it, it will change the game forever. In the dance of intimacy, the avoidant is always preparing to retreat. Their entire modus operandi is to control the distance. They connect, and then they feel the instinct to pull back to reestablish their sense of self. Most people feeling that pull back instinctively chase. And the more you chase, the faster and farther they run. So you must break the cycle by doing the one thing they would never expect. You must lead the retreat. You must honor the vulnerability and immediately give space. Let's paint the picture. You've had a beautiful, deep, connected evening. They've opened up. You've connected physically and emotionally. The night is winding down. The classic mistake is to try to prolong it, to cling, to ask, "When will I see you again?" in a desperate tone. This floods the system. Instead, at the peak of the connection, you be the one to gracefully end it. You give them a warm, genuine hug. You look them in the eye and say, "I've really loved this time with you. I've got an early start tomorrow, so I'm going to head out." And you leave. You disconnect first. The psychological impact of this is profound. First, you have honored their vulnerability by not overstaying your welcome and turning a beautiful moment into something draining. Second, you have taken control of the pattern. You have taken the role of the one who values their own space and time. This is incredibly attractive to an avoidant because it mirrors their own behavior in a healthy way. Third, and most importantly, you leave them in the emotion of the connection. You leave them with the positive feeling, not the feeling of being smothered. They are left alone with their thoughts, and their thoughts are about the wonderful connection they just had and the fact that it ended on a high note because you ended it. They are left with a sense of wanting more rather than a sense of needing to escape. You have flipped the script. Now they are the ones who experienced a beautiful connection that was cut short. And what does the human brain do when it experiences something pleasurable? That is taken away. It wants to get it back. You create a vacuum and nature abhors a vacuum. By you walking away confidently, you create the psychological conditions where they now feel the urge to lean in, to reach out, to chase, to reestablish that good feeling that you so confidently walked away from. You cannot fake this. You cannot pretend to have a full life while secretly waiting by the phone. The energy of neediness is a scent that an avoidant can detect from a mile away. The foundation of everything we've talked about, the calm, the ability to give space. The lack of pressure rests on this one non-negotiable pillar. You must be living a life so compelling, so focused on your own mission and your own joy that your world does not crumble when they withdraw. You must radiate a purpose-driven, full life. Think about what is fundamentally attractive. It's not just about looks or charm. It's about vitality. It's about a person who is lit up from within by their own passion. When your primary focus is your purpose, your business, your art, your fitness, your friends, your growth, you become a source of positive energy. People, especially avoidants who fear being drained, want to plug into that energy source. You become the sun in your solar system. Planets are naturally drawn to orbit the sun because of its gravitational pull. The sun doesn't chase the planets, it simply shines, and the planets are held in its orbit. You must become that sun. When they pull away, your response is not to sit in a dark room and panic. Your response is to think, okay, great, that gives me more time to work on my project, to see my friends, to hit the gym, and you go and you do it, and you enjoy it genuinely. This does two things. First, it protects you. Your sense of worth is no longer tied to their attention. This is freedom. Second, it makes you irresistibly attractive. They see that you are not waiting for them. They see that your life is full and exciting with or without them. This triggers a deep-seated fear in them, the fear of missing out, and the fear of actually losing you. When they see you thriving independently, the question in their mind becomes, if I don't step up, will I lose my place in this amazing life of theirs? Your mission becomes more magnetic than they are, And in order to be a part of that mission, to bask in that light, they have to step forward. They have to earn a spot in your world because you've made it clear that your word is fantastic with or without them. Now let's talk about strength. Calmness without boundaries is just doormat behavior. A full life without standards is just busyness. To create a true sanctuary, you must have gates. You must maintain clear, unwavering, and non-negotiable boundaries. This is not about being punitive or rigid. This is about self-respect. An avoidant will often test limits, sometimes unconsciously. They will show up late. They will cancel plans. They will be emotionally unavailable. If you tolerate it, you are teaching them that it is acceptable to treat you this way. And you know what? They will lose respect for you and the attraction will fade. Why? Because deep down, everyone is drawn to someone who respects themselves. So, what does a boundary look like in this context? It's not an emotional outburst. It's not, how dare you cancel on me? You're so unreliable. That is neediness in disguise. A true boundary is calm, clear, and consequence-based. It sounds like this. I understand things come up. For me, when I make plans, I commit to them. I value my time and the time of others. If last-minute cancellations become a pattern, it won't work for me. Then, you simply stop making yourself as available. You don't get angry. You don't plead, you state your standard, and you let your actions back it up. You are effectively saying, you are welcome to be in my life, but you must enter through this gate of mutual respect. This is incredibly powerful. It communicates that you are not desperate, that you have options, that your well-being is your priority. This does not push the avoidant away. On the contrary, it often pulls them closer. Why? Because it creates a clear structure. Avoidants are often afraid of the formless, bottomless pit of need. A boundary is a defined line. It creates a container for the relationship, and counterintuitively, that container makes them feel safer. They know what to expect. They know what the rules of engagement are. They know that if they cross this line, there is a consequence. This prevents the enmeshment they fear. By you holding a firm boundary, you are proving that you are a separate, whole individual who will not fuse with them and lose yourself, which is exactly what they need to see to feel safe enough to get closer. The final piece of the puzzle is to become a master of positive reinforcement. You are essentially guiding a skittish, beautiful animal closer to you. If you shout, move too fast, or try to grab it, it will bolt. But if you are calm, patient, and offer a treat every time it takes a small step in your direction, it will learn that you are a source of good things and will voluntarily come closer. You must consistently reward every step forward. This means being hyper-aware of their micro-efforts and responding correctly. Most people only reward the big things, the I love you, the big commitment, and they punish or ignore the small steps, or worse. They meet them with skepticism. He finally texted me back. Well, it's about time. That is a punishment. An avoidant takes a tiny step. They send a meme. They ask how your day was. They initiate a date. This is a huge deal for them. This is them testing the waters. Your response in that moment is critical. You must reward it with a warm, positive, and low-pressure response. That meme was hilarious. Thanks for sending it. My day was great. Thanks for asking. How was yours? I'd love to see you on Friday. That works for me. That's it. You are giving them a psychological treat. You are making them feel smart, successful, and good for having taken that action. You are creating a positive feedback loop in their brain. Initiative, positive connection, good feeling. They will then be subconsciously driven to repeat the behavior to get that good feeling again. Conversely, if their small step is met with coldness, neediness, or an attempt to turn it into a bigger step, the feedback loop is initiative, pressure, obligation, bad feeling, and they will stop initiating. Your job is to make every single step toward you feel like a win for them. Celebrate the crumbs, and you will eventually get the whole loaf. Be the source of positive feelings in their life, and they will associate you with reward, not with obligation. They will start to chase that feeling, and the only place to get it is by moving closer to you. We began this journey with a shared feeling of frustration and pain, that agonizing experience of watching someone you care for retreat the moment you show them your heart. We identified the core problem, using a map for secure territory to navigate the complex landscape of an avoidant heart. That old map, filled with pursuit, intense pressure, and clinging, only leads deeper into the wilderness of disconnection. It reinforces their deepest fears and confirms their belief that love means a loss of self. But now you have a new map. A map drawn not from neediness, but from strength. A strategy built not on chasing, but on becoming so whole, so magnetic, and so safe that the very dynamics of the relationship are transformed. This new path requires a fundamental shift in you first. It demands that you become the calm in their storm, the sanctuary they never knew existed. It calls you to master the art of receiving love without suffocating it, of honoring vulnerability by giving the gift of space, and of building a life so vibrant that your own light becomes the most attractive force in the room. This is not about manipulation. It is about elevation. It is about rising to a level of self-respect where your boundaries are clear, your purpose is non-negotiable, and your peace is unshakable. When you embody these principles, you do more than just change a relationship. You change the entire energetic field. You stop being the chaser, and you become the prize. You cease to be a source of threat and become a source of refuge. The avoidant individual, often for the first time, encounters a person who does not trigger their core wounds, but instead provides the conditions where those wounds can begin to heal. They experience a connection that is affirming, pressure-free, and rewarding. In this new environment, their instinct to run is quiet, and a new, more powerful instinct is awakened, the instinct to connect, to belong, and to cherish what they have found. This journey is not for the faint of heart. It will test your own patterns, your own insecurities, and your own capacity for growth. There will be moments where the old you will scream to chase, to cling, to demand reassurance. But in those moments, you must remember the new map. You must breathe. You must center yourself in your own worth. And you must trust the process. You must have the courage to hold the space, to walk away gracefully, and to focus relentlessly on your own magnificent life. So step into this new way of being. Stop asking for a drop of their water when you can become the entire ocean. Stop begging for a moment of their time when you can become the sun they orbit. When you transform yourself into that person grounded, purposeful, and whole, you will no longer have to wonder what to do when an avoidant shows love. You will simply watch with a calm and knowing heart as they are irresistibly, inevitably, drawn to chase the light that you have become. Thank you for having the courage to explore this, for being willing to look at your own patterns, and for choosing a path of transformation. This is not just about changing a relationship, it's about reclaiming your own power and living a life of fulfillment on your terms. Now go out there and take massive action. Implement one of these strategies today. Your breakthrough is waiting. I believe in you. Now go and create the life and love you deserve. Goodbye and God bless.